Yo, it's your boy J Best, and welcome back to the Straight to the Point podcast, episode 29. On today's episode, I will be talking about Luka Magnificent. Okay, not Luka Magic, Luka Magnificent, and then I'm gonna show y'all the NBA standings. I'm gonna talk about the Dallas Mavericks and everything that is going wrong, and then I'm gonna talk about the Warriors, who should not be slept on at all, and the Lakers, who could possibly make a title run. All right, but first, as always, I want to thank God for waking me up this morning and allowing me to talk about sports, which is something that I love to do. And without him, I would not be here right now. So first, like I said, I'm gonna talk about Luka Magnificent. That's right. People call him Luka Magic, but Magic that belongs to Magic Johnson. Okay, so let's change it up a little bit and put some respect on Magic Johnson's name by not putting Magic in somebody else's name. So let's go Luka Magnificent. Okay. Luka Doncic to me, and this is on record. Y'all can quote me on this anytime you want. Luka is the best player in the league right now. Like it's not even a debate because things that he does, no other player in the NBA can do other than maybe LeBron James. And I'm not just talking about scoring wise. I'm talking about assist wise. For those of y'all that been watching this show or that knows me personally, y'all know that I like NBA players that can do it all, not just straight scoring. Okay, not just straight assists, but can combine the two and can make an impact on the game, not just by scoring, but by also getting his teammates involved in the game. And nobody does it better today than Luka Doncic. Yes, Nikola Jokic does it, but Luka doesn't just do it. It's the way he does it, the style in which he does it, the kind of passes that he makes that Jokic can't make, the kind of passes that he make that maybe only two players in history, LeBron James and Magic Johnson, are only two that I can say, okay, they can maybe make that pass, right? But for the most part, nobody can make the passes that he makes. And I want to take this time to give him his flowers because I feel like we have to appreciate this greatness that we are witnessing right now because in the future, we'll be very fortunate to say, you know what? We live during the Luka Doncic era. Not saying that he's dominating this era with rings or with wins, but he's dominating this era with just his playmaking ability. All right, so before I show y'all, well, y'all should know what play that I'm referring to, the play that I'm going to show y'all in a couple of minutes. But before I get to that pass that he made the other night against the Pacers, I'm gonna show y'all the other two passes that I think are the best three passes that I've ever seen in my life. Okay, the pass he made the other night is number one on the list, but I'm gonna show y'all the other two that I think are in my best three that I've seen, not of all time, that I've seen with my own two eyes. So number three, a player that I mentioned when I was talking about Luka and his ability, somebody that has similar ability, is LeBron James. Okay, LeBron became my favorite player when he went back to Cleveland. So not the first time in Cleveland, not in Miami, but he went back to Cleveland because he first of all took over that whole organization like he did with the first two, but it was just different. Okay, this LeBron could shoot better than the old LeBron, and this LeBron was passing better than the old LeBron. That's why I liked him so much. So number three on this on my best three passes that I've ever seen is LeBron James when he was on Cleveland going against the Lakers. Just look at how he uses his vision, right? He's looking at his shooter in the corner. He draws two defenders and one is wide open. But not just that, but look at the pass that he makes with one hand, the no look. It's just beautiful basketball, okay? That's number three on my best three passes that I've ever seen. Number two, okay, it's owned by Luka Doncic. Okay, this is when Luka played the Brooklyn Nets. All right, he's driving to the middle of the paint, and he's going to make it seem like he's about to shoot a fader, right? He's about to try and turn and spin, hit one of them Dirk shots, right? Dirk Nowitzki shots. But in the process of doing that, he realizes that, look, Maxi Cleaver, my teammate, is right under the goal. So I'm going to make this pass from, like, not even facing the goal. Okay, I've seen people do behind the backs, you know what I'm saying? I've seen people do that, but nobody has ever made a pass like this in a NBA game. Okay, yes, the pass was a little high, but Maxi caught it and made the layup. That's just a great court vision. That's great playmaking ability. And I want y'all to also realize that there's four players with their eyes on Luka in this play. You can see four sets of eyes staring at Luka. That's how big of a threat he is with the ball in his hands, and that's why he makes shots for his teammates. And then number one is the play that just happened the other night against the Indiana Pacers. Okay, so for those of y'all that do play basketball or watch a lot of basketball, y'all know the number one rule is do not dribble to the corner because you're going to get what? Trapped, okay? trapped, double team, whatever you want to call it. And he does. Not because he dribbled over there, because he mishandled the pass and the ball bounced over there. So he went to retrieve it and they came and they trapped him, okay? Normally this can lead to a turnover, step out of bounds. He might get fouled, but he goes in the air and makes a cross-court pass for a three-point shot. When he made this play, I said, oh my God, there's no way. There's no way. Like, I had to rewind the TV like 5 times to make sure that I'm seeing what I saw. Okay, I saw this as a highlight, so I didn't see it in live action, but I saw it as a highlight, and I kept rewinding it. I'm like, man, there's no way that ball even got past the goal. Right, that ball should have really hit the goal, but it didn't because of the touch and the velocity on the pass to an open shooter. Thank God he made it, because if he did it, it wouldn't have been a great play. But he makes the shot, and that's just what Luka does on night in and nightly basis. I'm sorry. And then 3 of my favorite players of all time is LeBron, Magic, and Luka. And it's because of this aspect of their game. Most players cannot do this. MJ was not doing this. Kobe was not doing this. Okay, so there's a lot of players I can point to and say they was great scorers, but they didn't have this aspect of the game. And I'm not talking about just regular old kick to the corner threes. I'm talking about this style of passing. Okay, that's one of my favorite aspects of basketball is the passing plays. So Luka, LeBron, and Magic, they can get all my love because that's just what I love about basketball. Players that can score, but they can also go out there and make flashy passes. All right. But that was just my little Luka appreciation moment before I really dog out his team in a couple of minutes. But before I get to that, I'm going to talk about the NBA standings, all right? As of right now in the NBA East, start with the East. Number 1 is the Bucks. Number 2 is the Celtics. Number 3, the 76ers. Number 4, the Cleveland Cavaliers. As of right now, those 4 teams have clinched their playoff spots, so they're not going anywhere, all right? And they're probably going to keep those 4 spots. I mean, they might change. 1 through 3 might change around over the next couple of games, but those 4 are locked in. Number 5, we have the New York Knicks. All right, number 6, we have the Brooklyn Nets. And then under number 6 is 7 through 10. These are the play-in teams as of right now. So if the league stopped today, this will be the play-in tournament. Number 7, the Heat. Number 8, the Hawks. Number 9, the Raptors. Number 10, the Bulls. Okay. And I think these 10 teams, so all 10 of these teams are going to make the playoffs, right? 4 of them make the play-in, the rest is already in the playoffs. I think this is going to stay in this order. Not in this order, but I think these are the 10 teams that's going to stay in the playoffs. I don't see the Wizards, Pacers, or Magic jumping ahead of the Bulls or anything like that. So I do think this is the final 10 for the East. I think it's set. Now the order might change, but I think this is the 10. And as y'all have heard me say before, I got the Celtics and the 76ers in my conference finals. Okay, no disrespect to Giannis, but I think Joel Embiid is on a mission this year. I do think that the Celtics are trying to get back to where they was last year, and Jason Tatum is actually starting to play like the old Jason Tatum that we saw, especially last year in the playoffs. So those are my 2 teams that I got going to the conference finals in that conference. But I think this conference honestly just comes down to 3 teams that can possibly win, and that's the Bucks, the Celtics, and the 76ers. The Cavs are a good team, right? But I don't think they're ready to make that jump to the finals. Same with the Knicks. I don't think they're ready either. I think they are one more player away from being a championship contender, but they can give people like a rough time. Like, I don't see these teams getting swept or nothing like that. These going to be some pretty good series, but at the end of the day, the last 3 remaining will be either the Bucks, Celtics, or 76ers. Or the last 2 will be either the Bucks, Celtics, or 76ers. But me personally, I'm picking the Celtics and the 76ers. All right. Now to the Wild Wild West. This is where all the drama is, because this conference is really a 7-team race, right? 7 teams you can say have a chance on winning the championship. And that's with anybody else. Me, I don't think it's really 7 teams that can win the conference. Sorry, not the championship. I don't think there's 7 teams that can win the conference. But according to other people, there are 7 teams that can. Can't say the same for the other conference. So the standings in the West, we got the Nuggets at number 1 and the Grizzlies number 2. Okay, the Kings at number 3. Number 1 and 2, so the Nuggets and the Grizzlies have clinched their spot, so they're in their playoffs regardless. The Kings can clinch if they win tonight. Okay, so I'm shooting this episode on today is Wednesday. And tonight, the game they play, if they can win this game, then they will be in the will be clinched to be in the playoffs. All right. Number 4, you got the Suns. Number 5, the Clippers. Number 6, the Warriors. And this is where it gets a little interesting. Okay, the Warriors are number 6. Their record is 40-37. All right. Next at 7, you have the Timberwolves. At 8, you got the Pelicans. 9, you got the Lakers. 10, you got the Thunder. Okay, at 11, you got the Mavericks. But pay attention to how close these records are. Like I said, the Warriors are 40-37. The Timberwolves are 39-37. The Pelicans are 38-38. The Lakers are 37-38. The Thunder is 37-39, and the Mavericks is also 37-39. Okay, the Jazz, I don't think they have a chance to get in, but they're 35-40. So just to put some respect on their name a little bit, they're in the conversation, but I don't see them getting into the play-in tournament. So looking at this at 6 through 11, really, that all can change within 1 or 2 games, right? If somebody wins and 2 people lose, you can jump 3 spots, right? So that's how close the West is, all right? So at the end of the day, for my prediction of who's going to make it, like I said, in the East, I think those top 10 teams are really set. They might change order, but I think those are the 10 teams. I'm really looking at this and I'm saying, you know what? I think 6 through 10 will be the Warriors, Pelicans, Lakers, Thunder, and the Mavericks and Timberwolves is really a toss-up. But if I had to put money on it, I would go with the Mavericks. I'm hoping that they can get in the playoffs, because if they don't, that would be a huge, huge disappointment for that organization. So I'm going to go ahead and kick the Timberwolves out. They got to lose a couple of games and other teams got to win, but I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. If they do make the playoffs, then that would be a surprise of the season, because I don't think nobody thought that they would be one of the top 10 teams remaining. But like I said, out of those 6, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, out of those 5 spots, a lot can change over the next couple of days because of how close the records are. So those are the standings, but now I want to talk about 3 teams specifically in the West. Okay, the East is a little boring right now, but the West is where all the drama is, and I want to talk about the Dallas Mavericks. There's a reason why I gave Luka his flowers when the episode first started, because I have to talk about the dysfunction of this team since the trade deadline. So the Mavericks they beat the Pacers on Monday. So let's talk about prior to Monday. Okay, so before Monday, the Mavs had just lost back-to-back games to the Hornets. Okay, the Charlotte Hornets, with no LaMelo Ball, with no Terry Rozier, their top 2 players, they lost both of those games back-to-back. And they lost on Sunday. Okay, Luka was 12 for 29. That's a lot of shots. He missed a lot of shots. 12 for 29, had 8 assists, 12 rebounds. Or 8 rebounds, 12 assists, one or the other. I didn't really label it. Kyrie went 5 for 15, 18 points, 3 assists, and 4 rebounds, I want to say. All right, so there's no LaMelo Ball and no Terry Rozier. The problem with this Mavericks team is rebounding. But that's a problem that has been existing because they never had a big man. They never did. So I don't want people to say, well, the only reason they're struggling is because of rebounding. That's one problem they have, but they've been had that problem because they never had a true big man to get down there and get boards. Luka is really their leading rebounder, if we're being honest, because he almost averaged a triple-double. So Luka being your top rebounder is not going to cut it. All right, so the Mavs got out-rebounded by 21 against the Charlotte Hornets. It was 58-37. Rebounding is such an important part of basketball because that gets you second chance points, and it also gets you a possession. So if I'm losing on the boards, that's giving the other team second chance points and giving the other team extra possessions. All right, the Charlotte Hornets had 14 offensive rebounds. The Mavs had 3. So the Charlotte Hornets had 14 extra chances to score versus the Mavericks only had 3. And the Mavericks are also 29th in rebounding. So this has been a problem, right? But I don't think this is the reason why they're struggling so much as of late. Because before the trade deadline, they was about like 5th or 6th in the West. But they've dropped ever since because, since the trade deadline. So I'm not going to strictly say it's because of rebounding. Another reason why they struggle is because of the defense. Okay, the defense, there's no defense. Since they made that trade for Kyrie, Dorian Finney-Smith was their best defender. Okay, Spencer Dinwiddie could defend a little bit, right? So once you get rid of your 2 top, I'm not going to say Spencer Dinwiddie is the top defender. When we get rid of 2 players that can play defense, but you insert a Kyrie Irving that does not play defense, that already has a Luka Doncic that does not play defense, they don't have a rim protector. Like Dwight Powell's a big man, Christian Wood's a big man. They're not rim protectors, right? So this team really from the start was just a team full of shooters, so with Luka in the middle, and Luka was the one that distributed to the shooters, and hopefully they was on and they will outscore you. That's what the Mavs do. The Mavs want to outscore you. That's why they got shooters surrounding Luka Doncic, right? So since I remember when this trade happened, I remember I think I did an episode with my little brother, and I said, look, adding Kyrie Irving to any team is a bonus. But when you add him to a team that already has a Luka Doncic on it, I don't see it working. Okay, a prime example. Let's look at the Lakers. Okay, AD and LeBron work so well because AD is not ball dominant. AD can play off the ball, pick and roll, right? AD can play off the ball and just post up. AD also crashes boards, rebounds, putbacks. That's how AD. Affects the game. That's his impact on the game. LeBron James is the main ball handler. LeBron James is the one that can also create opportunities for AD. Right? It's like a yin and yang. It just goes together so well. Kind of like Magic and Kareem did. Kind of like Kobe and Shaq did. Okay, Kobe wasn't high on assists like that, but he had a dominant guard with a dominant big man. That's how I feel it should be. It should be a dominant guard with a dominant big man. I've been saying for the longest, get Luka a great big man. They tried with Porzingis. Porzingis didn't work out. So try another one, because that's what I think he needs. Either give him a dynamic big man that doesn't really need the balls, that doesn't need the ball bringing up the court. That makes sense. They're not ball dominant in terms of I have the ball in my hands. They want their touches. They want their shots, but they don't bring the ball down the court. They don't play on the perimeter like Luka does. All right, and then not only that, but if you're not going to do that, get him some shooters. Okay, I think Luka needs either big man or shooters. The Klay Thompsons of the world, even a Bradley Beal, players that can play off and just shoot all day, play defense and shoot, a 3-and-D kind of guy. That's what they need beside Luka. But when you bring Kyrie Irving into the mix, you have two players that are very ball dominant. Kyrie doesn't play off ball. He just doesn't. He's a guy that you get put the ball in his hands. He go between the legs, behind the back, spin. He go and get a bucket. You can't do that when you have Luka on the team. Luka's usage rate is higher than Giannis. Luka usage rate is one of the highest usage rates in NBA history because he has the ball every possession because he's the playmaker. He is the floor general. I'm sorry. That's what he does. So when you take the ball out of his hands, you kind of mess up the whole entire team. And at one point, I remember I had wrote this down. Kyrie, and this is before that Pacers game, okay? So before the Pacers game, Kyrie had 75 fourth quarter and overtime shots compared to Luka's 33 fourth quarter and overtime shots. And these are games that they played together. That's a problem. My best player on the team does not have the most shots in crunch time, basically. That's a huge problem. Luka's better than Kyrie by a mile. Like that's not even a debate who's better. So the best player should have the most shots on the team. But he didn't. And then in that Charlotte Hornets game that they lost, that was the first time when Luka and Kyrie played together that that Luka shot more shots in the fourth quarter than Kyrie, and it was just 6-5. So I just don't like the duo. I don't think it's a great duo. I really don't. I think moving forward they have to find a way. And I was talking to my dad the other night. My dad said, "Well, Kyrie gotta adjust, Luka gotta adjust, but the best Kyrie is the Kyrie that has the ball in his hands, right? Making magic and going to work. The best Luka is the Luka that has the ball in his hands. There's only one ball on the court. So what I'm saying is Kyrie can try to adjust and be an off-ball guard, but we won't get the Kyrie that we traded for. They traded for a second star to go beside Luka to help him score. When Luka go out the game, help him score. And that's not a problem. When Luka's off the court, Kyrie do your thing. But when Luka's on the court, that's when it causes a problem, in my opinion. Not just that offensively, but defensively. That's two players that do not play defense. And then you already have a big man in Dwight Powell who's not really a rim protector. So you have three players that's not making a huge impact on defense, and it's 5-on-5. Now it's really 5-on-2 on the defensive end. So if they're not hot offensively, then they're going to struggle. If they're not hot offensively, they're going to struggle to win games because they can't defend anybody. Kyrie and Luka together are 4-8. Like, that's not going to cut it. Okay, so before this trade deadline, they was like 5th or 6th. They dropped ever since the trade deadline. So we can only point the finger at one person. We can't point the finger at Jason Kidd because Jason Kidd put this team in the conference finals last year. he had his team playing at a very high defensive level last year. So you can't blame Jason Kidd. You can't blame Luka because Luka been there the whole time. When Luka was there before Kyrie got there, they was a good team. It was 5 or 6 this year. Last year was in the conference finals. I can only blame not Kyrie as a player, but I can only blame the GM for putting Kyrie with Luka and getting rid of your best defender. And Spencer Dinwiddie was that guy that can go in there and get you points off the bench. So I really don't like this duo. I said it when the trade first happened. I said we gotta wait and see how it looks. But from just prejudging it, I don't like two ball dominant players together. Like KD and Luka would work because KD can just catch the ball and shoot. KD doesn't bring the ball down the court a lot, right? Kyrie did in Brooklyn because that's what Kyrie does. Kyrie brings the ball down the court. So KD wasn't the guy bringing the ball down the court. With Golden State, KD was not bringing the ball down the court. So KD is really the only player you can plug and play with any style of player in the league. All right. So I think you need somebody that can just shoot, play defense, or a nice big man to go with Luka, not Kyrie. So I think that at the end of the day, if they don't make the playoffs, I can only blame the GM/Kyrie because of the kind of player Kyrie is, and because the GM decided to do this. All right, so the Mavericks are in trouble. All right, next I want to talk about the Warriors, who a lot of people are sleeping on. I really don't understand. Okay, yes, I understand that the Warriors are 9-29 on the road. Okay, 31-8 at home. Right, but I also see another team that also struggles on the road that a lot of people are not questioning. Okay, there's another team by the name of the Memphis Grizzlies that a lot of people think can actually make a run this year. That they're not really concerned about them, but they're concerned about the Warriors. The Memphis Grizzlies are 15-22 on the road, 32-5 at home. So we trust the Memphis Grizzlies team that has not done anything, has not won anything, that has a good home record but a bad road record, versus a team that's been in the finals 6 of the last 8 times when they have a bad road record but a good home record. Like, it's crazy to me. The Warriors should be, if anything, the lead for the finals appearance. Like who we should trust the most because they've been there before, they've done it before. This is the team. This is the only team in the league that I can see having a switch that they can flip to get to the finals in the playoffs. Like, I'm not betting against Curry, Clay, and Draymond. I'm not doing it. Like I said, they've been in the finals 6 of the past 8 times. The 2 times they wasn't in the finals is when they was hurt. They wasn't healthy. Okay, so I don't understand where the confusion is, but I trust this team more than anything. If anything, I'm picking between this team and another to get to the finals. Okay, this team has been there before, have done it. They had a championship pedigree, right? This team is second in scoring points per game. They're second in the league in scoring. But we're sitting here trying to, and this is one thing that sports media does. We're so focused on recent memory versus I'm not gonna say the past, but versus recent memory versus like 2 or 3 years ago. Right, the Warriors have done it and proven it time and time again, but we're so caught up on the Kings and the Grizzlies and the Nuggets, teams that are just now coming up and doing something, versus going against the person that's been there, done that. Like, I don't understand that. I have my faith in the 4-time champs, right? A team that has done it time and time again versus these other teams that are just now trying to get there. All right, so I don't think that we put enough respect on the Warriors' name because we're trying to find every reason why we shouldn't trust them. But at the end of the day, they do it every single year that they're healthy, of course. Right, like I said, those 2 years that they didn't go to the finals, they was not healthy. And that was the chance for everybody to go and try and get to a ring. The Lakers and Bucks did it. But after that, what happened? The Warriors came right back last year and won a championship. So I'm not sleeping on the Warriors at all. The Warriors have just a chance to win it, just as much of a chance to win a championship as much as any team in the East and any team in the West. All right, so for me, like I said, I picked the Celtics and the 76ers. On the East side, for this side, I'm picking the Warriors. Okay, and then I got to go with the Los Angeles Lakers. Okay, I have faith. I really do because of what I've been seeing. All right, yes, the last game, the Lakers lost 118-108 against the Chicago Bulls. Okay, I got it. Right, in that game, before that game, the Lakers was on a 3-game winning streak, and it was the birth of Austin Reeves. Okay, Austin Reeves to me is a certified baller, and he will be. Okay, of course he's not gonna be the same Austin Reeves when LeBron comes back like we saw on Sunday, but I do believe that Austin Reeves is. We saw a different Austin Reeves, right? Austin Reeves playing with LeBron and playing without LeBron is two different things. Austin Reeves is gonna play his role whenever LeBron is there. Sorry. But when LeBron is not there, Austin Reeves is going to take the balls to the cup. I never seen Austin Reeves play like this before. Those 3 games that they won before this Sunday. I never seen him play like that ever. Okay, so Austin Reeves, the Lakers have a star in Austin Reeves that they must resign, they must keep. All right, but then Sunday comes, right? And LeBron had 19 and 8 off the bench. So 19 points, 8 rebounds off the bench. He looked pretty good. For this to be his first game, missing 13, he looked pretty good. All right, but I looked at Instagram, and I'm one of those guys that look through the comments, right? I look through the comments to see what people are thinking. And somebody said the Lakers are better without LeBron. And I almost threw my phone across the room because how can you say that without the best player in the world? Well, sorry, one of the GOAT, okay? My GOAT. I ain't finna sit here and say one of the greatest players. My GOAT. The greatest player of all time, the team is better without him. Like, it doesn't make any kind of sense. And I'm sitting here like, can y'all give this thing a chance? Can y'all give LeBron and them a chance to gain chemistry? When LeBron is gone, AD is the certified #1 option. He should be when LeBron is there, but LeBron gives you that 1B, right? 1A and 1B. But when LeBron is gone, AD is just certified #1. Okay, Austin Reeves became the #2. D'Angelo Russell was #3. Malik Beasley was #4 when it came to shooting. Okay, so this team had learned how to play without LeBron. So now they need time to learn how to play with LeBron. So LeBron comes back, everything changes. He's the primary ball handler. So we got to change the way that D'Angelo Russell is no longer the primary ball handler. So things have to adjust, and they're gonna get it together. I'm not worried about it. Tonight they play the Bulls for the second straight time. So they played them on Sunday. They play them tonight. I'm expecting a huge game from LeBron. I'm expecting a huge game from the Lakers because hopefully through practice and in that game they kind of got a feel for each other to see how they should play. All right, and not only that, but LeBron on Friday he was out. And then on Saturday, he became doubtful, right? And then he became questionable. And then a game time decision. Anthony Davis at the end of the game was surprised that LeBron played. So do you think the Lakers was really ready to play LeBron against the Bulls that day? No. So they lost that game. And that's perfectly fine with me. As long as tonight they get it together and they come back and they show that, you know what? We know how to play with LeBron now. Let's get this thing back on track and let's push for the playoffs. And this is why, and not only that, but I want to talk about Anthony Davis. In that game, Vucevic, right, the big man for Chicago, he got ejected in the first half. So Anthony Davis should have dominated in the rest of that game, but he didn't. Anthony Davis does this a lot. Some games he comes in and give you 30 and 15, what you want to see. And some games he give you 18 and 9. Like, I need a consistency from Anthony Davis. I watched that game. He played a game a couple weeks ago. I cannot think of who it was against, but in the first half, he had like 9 points. But he ended the game with like 30-something points because he came in the second half and he just took over. That's what he needs to do. He needs to realize that, look, I am, when healthy and when fully available, a top 5 player in the world. He is. Talent-wise and potential-wise, he is definitely a top 5 player still, in my opinion, when he flips that switch. But in some games, he want to sit back and watch. He can't do that. That's why I think this team is very, very dangerous. Since the trade deadline, the Lakers have been the #1 rated defense. Kudos to Jared Vanderbilt, who they bought over. Kudos to Rui Hachimura, 2 players that can play defense that you brought to this team. Austin Reeves can play defense as well. D'Angelo Russell can play defense as well. LeBron and AD, when they're at their best, can play defense. So this team has been #1 rated since the trade deadline. Before they was 22. So from 22 to 1, that's a big leap. So I think this team can defend very well. You have LeBron and AD, the best duo still in the league, in my opinion. Okay, a LeBron that can still give you 30 and 8, a AD that can give you 30 and 15 on the same night. Okay, so I think with the #1 rated defense, with LeBron and AD. They have the others. They have Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell and Malik Beasley, who's shooting from three. That's another thing that this team needed, was 3-point shooters, and Malik Beasley has brought that to the team. Jared Vanderbilt brings defense. Rui Hachimura can come off the bench, give some points, and play defense. This team is, well, LeBron and AD is now well rounded. When they had Patrick Beverly and Russell Westbrook, I had no faith, but now I have faith because you have players that know how to play their role, but they still will let LeBron and AD do what they gotta do, and they're not gonna take away from what LeBron and AD gotta do. They have the second easiest closing schedule. Okay, 5 of the 7 teams they got to play left are below 500, so the Lakers could low key push for that number 6 spot and not to play in the play in. But I think the Warriors should be able to hang on to it. We might have to see the Lakers in the play in, but we just gonna have to wait and see. But that is it for today. All right, that's all I'm talk about. I will do another episode soon because, like I said, the West is gonna keep moving. So I gotta stay on top of my game and make sure I can give y'all more and more episodes about the NBA. The playoffs are around the corner, so I will definitely be more consistent when that comes. But that is it. I'm out. Y'all stay blessed. All right, y'all stay safe out there, and much love.